my God. Oh, what did I witness today? What did I witness today? What did we all witness today? How the hell did they pull that off? How the hell did that team, the Eagles, that is, sorry for the voice crack, but I'm just like, I am so stunned with how in God's name they found a way to get that win after being down 26-7 in the third quarter. I'll tell you how they won the game. Championship caliber teams find a way to win. Jalen Hurts, who many people still criticize that can't throw the football, found a way to guide this offense. And oh, look, yeah, throwing to A.J. Brown a bunch of times finds success. What an interesting concept. I wish, we'd thought of that earlier. Apparently, they just finally thought of it. Devontae Smith, you can throw to him. He can catch footballs. You can make explosive passes. You can go downfield. Huge 91-yard drive to give you a lead. And then you have your big beefy boys on the defensive line, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, just blocking field goals like it's nothing. Like it's nothing, just, ho-hum, another day at the office. And then the ball's on Jordan Davis. What a game for him, man. What a game. Just his presence there today just felt different. Obviously, him and Jalen Carter teaming up to block that first field goal in the third quarter. And then when the Rams go downfield, it looks like your defense is giving up a little bit. You're like, okay, they're not going to block 2 field goals. The Rams are going to find a way to win this game after the Eagles made that miraculous comeback. Oh, it gets better. Oh, it gets even better. Not only a block the last field goal for the Rams trying to go to win the game, Jordan Davis basically just steamrolls through the entire offensive line for the Rams, blocks the field goal, picks up the loose ball, and then runs all the way to the end zone for the touchdown for a 60-plus yard return. And you win the game after being down 26-7. Insane. Absolutely fucking insane how amazing that win was. How great that win was. After a first half that was just completely and utterly pathetic from an offensive standpoint. I really wasn't going to blame the defense because the defense was out there basically every snap because the offense just kept getting off the field. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't pass the ball. Lane Johnson goes down with an injury. You don't even bring in Fred Johnson first. The offensive line play was just you couldn't do anything in the run game. You just couldn't do anything. Then to start the second half, Jalen fumbles the ball, and then the Rams go get another touchdown. It just felt like everything was falling apart in this game. And then you have a one drive where you constantly target A.J. Brown, you go downfield, you get a touchdown, you're like, okay, maybe the offense found something. Maybe they figured out, if you actually target A.J. Brown, you'll find success. And Jesus Christ, at least they finally figured that out. And maybe they needed that first half to fucking wake them up. To realize, okay, we can't keep playing like this. We can't keep having this putrid offense every single week. Maybe getting beat down like that in the first half was needed. Maybe it was. Now, maybe that's more of a cope from my perspective. I'm not entirely sure. But the first half offense was just completely inexcusable. And we all wanted Kevin Patullo ran out of town at that point because it was just that bad. And from the way the game started off so great, too, with Zach Bond getting an interception, you're going down the field for a touchdown, using the tush push, pissing people off even more because you got to use the super slow-mo replay to show a player, maybe snapping at like 0.2 seconds early from when the ball was snapped. We're looking way too deep into this. That's how much the tush push just completely pisses people off. Honestly, it's good theater. It's good theater for how much the tush push completely pisses people off. It's actually very funny. But it's just amazing how they went from that first half where I believe they only had 33 yards total of offense to a second half where it was just the completely different page. A completely different everything. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. I really wish ESPN would show the differences from the first half to the second half in terms of yardage. I don't think they do, which honestly is very annoying. But that second half, Do you put more on the back of Kevin Patullo? Most likely not. Jalen Hurts, obviously, proving people wrong once again. He can throw. He can have explosive plays with his legs and with his arms. And like I said, you can actually target A.J. Brown. You could actually target A.J. Brown and find success. My God, it's a brilliant concept. I wish they thought of it earlier. A.J. Brown finishing with 109 yards and 6 receptions on 10 targets. Some huge third down conversions, too, on the final drive as well for A.J. Brown. So that was just huge. Devontae Smith having 60 yards on 8 receptions in this game. Dallas Goedert had 2 targets. He had 1 touchdown, which was the one where they went downfield that first time. You're like, what the fuck? Where did this come from? Holy fucking shit. That was crazy. You know, the run game, Saquon had some nice runs, but the run game still hasn't fully fleshed out a bit, and I think that's really more on the offensive line play. In my personal opinion, it just feels like they're getting swallowed up, and I'm not sure if that's more on the play design too, because it feels like a lot that Saquon Barkley, they're just making him run up the middle. And granted, you don't have Lane Johnson in there. Lane Johnson for that offensive line is a huge loss, and you saw it early. Granted, they didn't put Fred Johnson in at first. Why do I forget who they put in first? I just, for some reason, do not remember who they put in first. It was, Fred Johnson that came in after the fact, and it looked like the offensive line settled down. But it's crazy how it took him that long to put him in there, and it's crazy. It's Matt Pryor. Matt Pryor they put in. It doesn't make sense why Pryor was the first guy when you just got Fred Johnson back. And Fred Johnson had some success as a rotational piece last year with how good this offensive line was. You put in Fred Johnson, it looks like the offensive line stabilizes a bit more, and maybe that's also what led to some help with the offense and ability for you to go downfield. And they were also maybe getting desperate at that point. Okay, we actually have to try to go downfield now. We have to try to make explosive plays. We have to actually target A.J. Brown. We have to actually try some shit. Thank the Lord. Thank the fucking Lord. Crazy. I will throw that, championship teams do find ways to win. That was a very gutsy win by this Eagles team, where a game where we just all thought the game was lost. Completely just all thought the game was lost after the first half with the way the offense was performing. And especially with the way the second half started with the fumble, and then LA takes it back for a touchdown, a couple of plays later. You think the game is over. They battled back. They fought. The defense was huge, too, basically preventing a lot of stuff from LA. Also, the huge 2 blocked field goals also play a major factor. Just making things very uncomfortable for Matt Stafford, making things very uncomfortable for Puka Nacua, for Devontae Adams as well. They were making plays. They were making things happen. They were keeping you around in the game when the offense was starting to find a little bit of a groove. Very huge stuff. Huge balls everywhere they're possible. Just a fantastic win, but there still has to be those discussions. There still has to be those questions on why was the offense so bad in that first half, because it's completely inexcusable for how bad and putrid. Seriously, having -2 passing yards in the first half is completely unheard of. It just shouldn't happen with the caliber of players that you have and the caliber of talent that you have in this offense to have -2 passing yards. You couldn't figure out anything. And that has to go to Kevin Patullo for just how bad that was. And you really have to start to think about because what they were talking about, it felt like a lot were they just going to bring back the play calling that they had last year with Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator and maybe tweaking a few things or something like that? But realistically, it was just going to be similarly the exact playbook that they ran last year. Now, granted, last year's playbook, the passing game still wasn't the best, but it felt like it was 20 times better than what it was, and that's probably more towards Saquon Barkley having an amazing season. But that also can go to is this more of a Nick Sirianni thing? Is Nick Sirianni having some of the controls here with the offense? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure where that goes. But when you're a CEO head coach, and when something is not going right, you need to find a way to step in and figure something out. Because through 2.5 weeks to that point, throughout the first half, offense was just the passing game in general was just completely unacceptable. It wasn't good enough. Yes, you were finding ways to win, but it just did not feel sustainable. And a lot of us were trying to cope with the fact that, okay, it'll eventually get better. We all know how the beginning of last year started. The first 4 weeks were very ugly. It didn't really take until week 8 in that second half against Cincinnati where things really started to click, and that's when you really started going on a stretch of dominance where, where it felt like something that was just real. It felt like something that clicked right there. We were trying to grab onto that, but it didn't pass the sniff test the first 2 weeks. There were some nice moments offensively. Jalen running the ball in that first game against Dallas. You made the plays that you had to against Kansas City and a Spags defense that was just running so many blitzes all over the place. But today, with a Rams secondary that was definitely beat up, your passing game in the first half shouldn't have been that bad. And we were right to be frustrated. The Eagles fans were right to boo in the link for how bad that offense was in the first half, because it was that bad. It was just completely that bad. And just, it's just ugly. Like, when I go back to even watch all of it, it's so bad. It's so bad how bad that offense was. It is like running third and longs every single time. It's like you're basically just giving up on the downs and all that. It just wasn't pretty. It was very ugly. It was just, like, why are we watching this? Like, why is this what we're being succumbed to watch right now? It shouldn't be this bad with all the talent that you have. You did figure it out in the second half, though. I will give you credit where credit is due there. You found a way to fight back, and you found a way to steal this game. Like, that is a very gutsy win. That is a win that championship teams figure out. They figure it out. Jalen Hurts was huge. A.J. Brown was huge. Devontae Smith was huge. Your passing game was huge in the second half. Your defense, after, going down 26-7, huge. Blocked field goals, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, huge. Managing to make Matthew Stafford uncomfortable, huge. All of that stuff. And Jordan Davis, probably player of the game at that point, basically saving the game with the blocked punt. Well, not the blocked punt, the blocked field goal. Crazy. Absolutely insane. Crazy. You just, like I said, you can't script it any better than what it is. Than what happened in today's game. Crazy, boys. Crazy. Jalen Hurts. People who say can't throw. People who say doesn't have explosiveness in the passing game. Jalen Hurts, 21 of 32 in his attempts. 226 yards. 3 touchdowns. He got sacked 4 times, but that was more, I think, on the offensive line, not having Lane Johnson there, and that was when Pryor was in the game a lot. So there was a thing there. Finished with a quarterback rating of 117. Good game from Jalen Hurts. Dude stepped up where you desperately needed him to. And, yeah, I really wasn't going to blame Jalen Hurts in the first half because that's just how bad everything was collectively. And I think that was more attributed to the play calling. But Jalen Hurts was huge for you in the second half, and he is a winner. Jalen Hurts finds ways to win, and that's why you have such a long stretch of winning when Jalen Hurts starts and finishes games. Example here tonight. Example here today. Saquon Barkley, 18 carries for 46 yards. We're lacking the explosiveness from Saquon Barkley, even though it did take him a little bit last year to get going. But, Saquon's definitely getting shut down. I do think there's a lot to contribute with the offensive line. With, not having Lane Johnson the first week, there were situations with Landon Dickerson coming back with injury and all that, coming back early from an injury. Is there, miscommunication there, everything like that? There's got to be something there that you can find as to why Saquon Barkley can't really fully get going. And it's not that Saquon's playing bad. I think that's more contributed to the play calling and the offensive line more times than not. And definitely there will be a game where Saquon just goes out and completely obliterates people because Saquon, it's just, there's a lot there. And for it to just not fully unleash, it's going to happen at some point. And like I said, I think that's more attributed to the offensive line. Maybe there's just a offensive line more in play calling and something like that. So there's probably something there. And Franco, yeah, you did point that out. There was a moment where Jalen Hurts was, I'm not sure if he was screaming on the sideline. I forget. I think it was halfway through the game. It probably was in that third quarter where it was after they got the Dallas Goedert touchdown to make things a little bit interesting as I am watching the Phillies game on in the background, and Corbin Carroll just did a 3-run shot to put the Diamondbacks up 6-0. Ranger Suarez is not having a good game right now. Granted, there are a lot of dinky singles running there, but this game is probably over. I can turn that off. Sorry to get sidetracked there. I just saw that in the back of my eyes. But you see Jalen Hurts on the sidelines. I'm not sure if he's yelling at the coaches. I'm not sure if he's yelling at his offense or everything like that. He was probably yelling to a collective bunch there. I'm sure Kevin Patullo was also involved in that entire thing. You saw something from Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts maybe taking control. Maybe Jalen Hurts was doing something. Maybe you can attribute the second half, the offense and everything to Jalen Hurts. Maybe there's something to that. I'm not entirely sure. We're just going to have to wait and see. But it's definitely something interesting to point out where you see Jalen Hurts on the sidelines talking, or I'm not sure if it was just talking or yelling at basically his offense and maybe Kevin Patullo for, how bad everything was. So that definitely is something to look into as well. So A.J. Brown with the 109 receiving yards, Devontae Smith with the 60 receiving yards. There were certain even certain instances. I think it was like when you have routes. There was one, I forget which point of the game it was, but there was a route where it looked like Devontae Smith had an easy catch, but then for some reason, Jahan Dotson is running the same exact route a couple of feet in front of Devontae Smith, and then Dotson thinks the pass is for him, and then basically deflects the ball away, which probably would have been an easy catch for Devontae Smith. And that just goes to, what are we doing here? Is it miscommunication? Is it play calling? Is the route just not creative enough? There's so many things that you can dissect here that just don't make sense. But then they have the second half that they do, and they completely just wipe it all away and just completely figure everything out. I'm not sure who you attribute that more. I think you attribute that more to Jalen Hurts. Maybe he did take control. Maybe he did take control in the plays like, hey, we got to fucking find a way to air this ball out. We got to find a way to target AJ more. And look what happens when we target AJ more. Look what happens when we target Devontae more. Those guys make plays. You got to get the ball in the hands of your playmakers more times than not, because they will make good things happen. And that's exactly what Jalen Hurts did. So maybe there is a little bit of things of Jalen Hurts taking over, specifically in terms of play calls and all that stuff. Maybe there was that case. But Jordan Davis with an amazing game. He had 4 tackles in this one. Looking at, Reed Blankenship had a moment where he got completely pantsed by Davante Adams, but then he also had a good pass breakup against, I believe it was also Davante Adams once again in the end zone before, I believe it was the blocked field goal, I think. That could have been at the end of the game or the first blocked field goal. I don't remember which specific part it was. Jahad Campbell had a lot of tackles in this game. Same thing with Cooper DeJean. Zach Bond, obviously, with the interception. There was always a threat right there with him. Quinyon Mitchell was good in coverage once again. He did have a pass interference call on Davante Adams, but overall, Quinyon definitely kept people in check. Some things that stood out to me that I didn't like, Sidney Brown in there, obviously. Dude still does not know how to tackle. Dude just runs in with full steam ahead and does not know how to tackle. That's just plain and simple right there. But still, overall, the defensive line was getting to Matt Stafford. He was only sacked once, but they were definitely bringing a lot of pressure there. And I think that has a lot to do with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Those guys were, huge for you on that defensive side today. It is insane, how great that was. But it's just insane, how different the first half was. Seriously. The Rams, they scored 19 points in the first half and then get that 7 points at the start of the third quarter. The Eagles, they scored 26 points in the second half. You can't even script that. That is crazy. And it was funny too. As soon as the Eagles game ended, after Jordan Davis got that blocked field goal return for a touchdown, immediately when they switched to the Jets Tampa Bay game, the Jets did the immediate exact same thing. Tampa Bay was going for a field goal to extend their lead. Jets blocked the field goal to go down for a touchdown, even though the Jets ended up jetting, and they lost that game. But that was just, very funny timing. I don't know why. That was just very funny timing. And it's one of those things, too, before the play happened, the Jordan Davis blocked field goal and the touchdown return, because when you watch it on a streaming platform, since we have Fubo TV, Fubo is insanely behind of when the actual play happens, so sometimes I do spoil myself on Twitter, or when I'm in the Brodes Discord chat, I definitely get spoiled because I'm like, how the fuck are you guys so ahead? How am I so behind? And I'm like, I believe it was Olivia Reimer, that covers the Eagles for the Enquirer, and she said, "Oh my," with a period. I'm like, "Oh God, what happened? Something probably happened." And then I see everything else, and then I see someone talked about the Eagles winning the game because Jordan Davis blocked another field goal and all that stuff, and then I see everything, everything just play out. I just laughed. I just laughed because just watch, just watch. I let out the most evil laughter possible because that was hilarious. That was electric. I wish I didn't spoil myself because I would have, instead of doing evil laughter, I would have holy shit. I would have holy shit. But no, it was evil laughter because sadly I spoiled myself. But it was funny to watch that in action. Jordan Davis was fucking moving. That dude was a fucking steam train coming full throttle for the ball to block it, and then full throttle to get the loose ball to run all. Seriously, this is why this dude lost so much weight in the offseason on the Peloton, so he could have moments like that. We didn't think it would be that moment insane like that, but that's why this dude lost 40 plus pounds to do that. He had one specific goal in mind, was to block 2 field goals and return one of those field goals for a touchdown. He had this game circled on his calendar. It's like, yeah, this is the game I'm going to do that. This is the game. When we're down 26-7, we're going to make a miraculous comeback. We take the lead. The Rams are going to go down the field to try to kick a field goal to win the game. I'm going to block that field goal and then return that shit for a touchdown. Like I said, the scripts are leaked and all of that. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. It's crazy. It is crazy. And look, here's a good tweet just about Jalen Hurts specifically in the second half. Reigning Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts in the second half, 17 of 24, completion percentage of 70.8, 209 yards, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, and a win. Clutch stuff. Throw it to A.J. Brown. Throw it to Devontae Smith. Beautiful shit happens. Beautiful shit happens. It's crazy. It's crazy. When you let Jalen Hurts air the ball out and you throw it to A.J. Brown, you make shit happen. Jalen Hurts led this offense to victory, and your defense stepped up. My God. My God. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Jalen Hurts, 17-0 in his last 17 games, including the playoffs. Man. Oh, man. Crazy. 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 Oh, man. And today was definitely a hard day, too. When you learned before the game with the whole Flyers news with the passing of Bernie Parent, that was very sad. Still, that's going to hurt for a little bit because Bernie Parent, obviously Flyers legend, NHL legend, loved the city of Philadelphia, loved the fans, loved the sports teams. You would always see Bernie tweet about respect to Philadelphia sports teams when they're going good, especially every week. I would think he would tweet every week after the Eagles win or something like that. And just unexpected passing today, that was sad. So it feels good, win that, even though I'm sure the Eagles, they did a nice tribute to Bernie Parent at the Eagles game. The fans gave him a standing ovation and all that. But overall, it was a sad day at that point. But maybe we can write that win and that impressive comeback for Bernie. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm also trying to see if there's anything else on Twitter. Because obviously still Philly's losing 6-0. But also, if you go back to baseball, the Mets lost again. They lost a series to the goddamn Nationals again. So, and the Reds, I believe they're winning, and the Reds have the tiebreaker. The Reds are a half game behind the Mets. If the Reds win, they tie them, and the Reds take over that third wild card spot. And also, just for psychotic sake, maybe it's a good thing the Phillies lose this series to Arizona because that makes the Mets sweat even more. They're still going to get the bye week. Their magic number's down to 3. The Dodgers are not going to win every single game going down the rest of the way. That would just be insane. Because the Dodgers, they play their last 2 series are on the road, and the Dodgers are not as good as a road team as they are at home. And the Dodgers, they got Arizona, who that series will be very important for because they're fighting for a playoff spot, and against Seattle in their final series, and Seattle probably still would be trying to wrap up the AL West at that point. So, and even though it'll still mean for the Dodgers, because they still have to wrap up the NL West, but still, it's not going to be easy for them. They're going to lose a game. They're not going to win out. That's just unheard of. The Phillies are going to get the bye week. Like, there's nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. What else is there? What else is there? Yeah, the Mets do hold the tiebreaker, but it's still something to make the Mets sweat a little bit, because the Mets now, they're on the road for their last 2 series against the Cubs, even though the Cubs just clinched a playoff berth and really those games don't mean anything for them. It's still, the Mets are completely a worse road team than they are at home. We all know this. And then I think they play in Miami, and we all know how the Mets play against Miami. So, there you go. And the Phillies, they have Miami and Minnesota to close out the year. The Phillies will get the bye week. We don't have to worry about that. Yeah, I know there's a voicemail from yours truly, Zach. I know. I got 3 voicemails here. Got one from Tyler, got one from Sean, got one from you. I'll get to those in a little bit. I'm just trying to look through Twitter just to see if there's anything else from these games. And also, just, I know I'm going back and forth here with the sports, but another baseball update, the Tigers are collapsing. They just got swept in their 6-game homestand by Cleveland and Atlanta, and Cleveland might be taking over that first place in the AL Central. That is insane how bad that collapse is. But just overall, going back to today's game, just amazing win, finding a way to do that in that comeback fashion. Jalen Hurts, amazing. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, amazing. A.J. Brown, amazing. Still got to figure out this whole situation with Kevin Patula, though. I think that's first and foremost. First and foremost there. Let's get to the voicemails. Let's get to Zach's first, and then we'll get to the others as well. Let's do it.
I don't even know what to say, man. Like, that is an improbable, just against all odds. Came out firing in the second half. Man, that was ugly. Those play calls, I don't know what the hell was going on. I didn't actually get to watch the game, but I got enough insight. I don't know what the hell we wouldn't throw the ball downfield for. Turns out, yeah, when you throw the ball downfield, you tend to have success, especially when you're throwing to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So, I mean, you know, I don't even know what to say, man. I'm lost for words. I mean, Jordan Davis, player of the game. And the big man takes it back. Just beautiful. I was like, get down, man. But he had the oxygen tank out after that one. So that's really his best play as an Eagle. I mean, I don't know how he's ever going to have a better one, but maybe in the playoffs, dude. Oh, just beautiful. Just everyone was talking all that shit when we were down 19. Oh, it's beautiful. The Eagles are getting their asses kicked. It's lovely. The tush-push merchants. Well, I didn't think we used many tush-pushes at all there in the second half. That was on Jalen Hurts' arm. And this defense locked in. I mean, that last drive, they gave the Rams too much, thankfully. Just one of the best plays you'll ever see, really. That's all I can say. That's all I got, man. Go Birds. Peace.
Yeah, go Birds indeed. Go Birds indeed. Yeah, that final drive by the defense, that was definitely a letdown from how well they were playing basically throughout the entire thing. But, hey, in a game that magical, the way that it was, they find a way to consume that last magic on that last play. And, yeah, for so many people complaining about the tush-push, I don't think the Eagles used it much in the second half at all. I think you're right about that. That was a lot more difference with Jalen Hurts' arm. Tush-push merchants. Get out of my face. Get out of my face. Let's get the Tyler's call. See what Tyler's got to say.
What can we say, man? What a dominant victory for the Eagles. No, I'm just kidding. We were able to block the field goal. I cannot believe it. This is unfreaking believable. Like, I'm at a loss of words. Holy shit. But I'll tell you what. It's like field goal block Sunday because Tampa Bay just got blocked a field goal and the Jets scored a touchdown from it. Scoop and score. Field goal block, scoop and score. For the Eagles, and then one for the Jets. But I'm still watching the Buccaneers-Jets game right now. It's still tied. But the point is, once we started targeting and passing to A.J. Brown, the whole entire team just woke up. We went from down in the slump to Super Saiyan, ready to whoop that ass. And we did. And it was another breath holder But I'll tell you what, we could breathe a little bit lighter now. And the Rams fans have got to be smoldering. I saw the Rams players on the field. They looked dumbfounded. 2 blocks for the Eagles for field goals. So we got to give it up to, what's the guy's name? Dorian Jackson or something? I forget. But hopefully I didn't butcher it. But yeah, we're 3-0, and that's really what's most important. So that's unbelievable, man. That's all I got. Talk to you next time. Go Birds. Peace.
Yeah, it is crazy to have a win like that. Absolutely insane to have a win like that. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. We're actually getting a couple of more calls in here. Franklin just said he called. I have 2 other calls from an unknown person, so hopefully that is not a troll call. But we'll get to those as well. We'll get to those as well. But yeah, that is just insane how they found a way to win that. How they found a way to... And there's also... you get the meme tweets after this game with the Eagles winning on the blocked field goal from Word on the Birds. Breaking news, Roger Goodell plans blocking field goals after the Eagles game. Oh, that's crazy. That is hilarious. Absolutely, that is. People get so salty about the tush push. It's not even funny. We all know it's gonna get banned. We all know it's gonna get banned at some point. But it's just like, well, you're gonna have to deal with it. All the toxicity of it, and all. You're gonna have to deal with it for 1 more year. So we're just gonna be extremely toxic with it. So here we go. So John Clark, this is from a Nick Sirianni press conference. Nick Sirianni says it's his responsibility to keep the team in the right emotional state, and he says the personal fouls and taunting penalties can happen because they will cost the Eagles. He says they will fix it. Oh yeah, it was after that first blocked field goal where Jalen Carter got called for that taunting penalty, which set the Eagles back even further on the final offensive drive, which forced them to go 91 yards down the field. Thankfully they did. But I did forget that. I did forget about that. That definitely is something that is noted. Not much else from Nick Sirianni in the press conference. I wonder if he just started talking or there's something else here. This is from Jeff Kerr. Jordan Davis reached 18.59 miles per hour on his blocked field goal return for a score to run the game. Jahad Campbell said he's the fastest defensive tackle in the league. Crazy. Let's get to the other callers. Let's get to Sean's call.
Wow, what a roller coaster ride that was. Before I get started, I got to throw this in real quick. Prayers and condolences for Bernie Parent, a Flyers legend, an NHL legend. That's a big loss within the hockey community. God rest his soul. Now, as for today, look, I can take losing, but I, as a fan, was getting incensed watching the Rams dance and gyrate and laugh and hoop it up on our field. The heart of a champion, man. That's what they say in boxing. Your mettle is tested when you actually have to overcome things. The Eagles overcame a lot today. And to get not 1 but 2 blocked field goals, gotta tell you, unheard of. But that's the mark of a champion. Jalen Hurts, keep shutting them up. We can't throw the ball. We threw it today. Somebody lit a fire under Kevin Patullo's ass. That's the way this team needs to play offense moving forward. And the most unsung move of the day, what finally tipped the scales, taking Matt Pryor out and putting Fred Johnson in, that saved our ass. Great win for the Eagles. Up your ass, Rams. 3-0, big game against Tampa next week.
Yeah, the Rams were going into this one like posting all the graphics and stuff. Oh, freaking divisional round rematch, and I'm like, seriously, like you're like I know when you play the Super Bowl champions, on your schedule, you're gonna get really amped up for that game and all that stuff. But it's just like, oh my god, But it's just like, and the way that they were, like Sean said, the way that they were going crazy on the field, everything there, the way that they were whooping your ass in the first half. What is it that, I know you did a boxing comparison there, Sean, and I know you're a huge boxing guy. I see you on Twitter all the time. You comment on like boxing Twitter, but what's always that Captain America said in the Marvel movies? I could do this all day. I could do this all day or something like that when he's getting beat up because he never gets knocked down. Whenever someone's like dominating him in a fight, he could do this all day or something like that. And then you have the quotes from the Rocky movies. It's not how hard it's. I forget the full quote entirely. It's about how hard you can hit and keep going or something like that. Yeah, that's basically what the Eagles did here. Let's get to the call from Franklin, and then we'll get to the mystery caller. Let's get to you.
Whose house is it? Not the fucking Rams house, that's for sure. Man, holy shit. The ending of this game was so cardiac inducing. Man, Jordan Davis needs to be extended effective immediately. That dude fucking was chugging it like a fucking freight train. Just, yeah. Man, I can't even speak because of that shit. Also, Kevin Patullo, my man, what are we doing in that first half? That shit was awful. Man, I don't know. I can't speak right now. Fuck the Rams. Fuck the Cowboys. Fuck everybody else. Go Birds. Peace.
Perfectly said. Couldn't have said it better myself. Could not have said it better myself. Got nothing to respond to that, though. So let's get to the mystery caller. He left 2 calls, and they're very short. It doesn't sound like there's a troll. Let's see. Let's see what he has to say.
They find a way to consume that last magic on that last play. And, yeah, for so many people to play about the push, I don't think Eagles use it.
So we had my audio in the background. So he probably called again. Let's see.
Hey, what's up, bro? Just wanted to say, go Birds, dickhead. No, but I can't wait to see the media tomorrow morning. I cannot wait. MVP Hurts incoming.
Love it. I love it. I appreciate the call, too. Go Birds, dickhead. Oh, I love it. I love it. My God. Insane. Crazy. That was funny. Go Birds, dickhead. Go Birds, dickhead. Couldn't have said it any better. So, 3-0 in the year. Next week, in Tampa Bay, against the Buccaneers. For some reason, the NFL loves every year for us playing in Tampa for some reason. Todd Bowles, all that stuff. A lot of people like to say that Todd Bowles is Jalen Hurts' weakness. Go down in Tampa Bay and whoop their asses. Why the fuck not? Man, what a win. Just can't script it any better than what you did tonight. Can't script it any better. So, that will do it for today. So, like I said with the update for this week, I am going on vacation. I'm going down to Florida for the week. I'll be back on Sunday, depending on the time. Probably will have a recap for that Eagles-Tampa Bay game. I will try to update people with shorts throughout the week when things happen, if there's news or anything like that. I definitely have updates and shorts maybe throughout the week, just maybe one short a day just to talk and get an update where I'm at. Going down to Florida, obviously. Disney World, Universal, all that stuff for Halloween stuff. So, I'll have those updates for you. So there basically will be no streams throughout the week. I wasn't able to get anything recorded for this week either. So I apologize for that, but I'll try to get some shorts out there just so you guys have it, just so you guys know I'm alive. So we'll see where everything goes from there. So oh, that was you, Jaqueen. I appreciate the call. I appreciate you being a new member. I appreciate it. That was a great call. Really great call. So, I appreciate you guys tuning in this week. Well, today. And like I said, I'll have some shorts maybe this week, providing some updates and all that stuff. So don't forget to leave comments in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Great deal. Don't pass it up. Maybe when I'll have some reactions to the results of the Phillies games this week or something like that on shorts. Maybe that's what I'll do when they eventually get the bye week or something like that. I know they're off tomorrow, so we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll have an update when I go to like Buc-ee's or something when we're driving down there. Maybe I'll get my Buc-ee's experience. We'll see. We'll see. But appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'll see you next time.